Uh, hey guys, so today I'm going to cover a topic which is called access control in Swift. So I'll there are a lot of posts on the internet regarding what what kind of access specifier are, and they have mentioned it with their predefined definitions from straight from Apple. Well, I could have given that, but I just want to dive into just real-time examples so that we can understand how actually what is a open access specifier or or just or public. So I'll just explain in brief. So I'll just start with I just created a project which named access control, and I have a few of the classes created, and these classes have multiple access specifiers. So what are the types of specifiers? I'll just first tell you in the descending order. So the first is open. This is the most it is open is something like which is accessible between even between two modules. So I'll just explain you what are modules, but I'll just first go through the descending order. Open, then goes public, then comes internal, then comes file private, and then we have private. So we'll discuss it accordingly. So we'll first discuss open and public, then we'll go to internal, file private, and private. So what is open? So what I have done over here is I've created a small project which is access controls, and I have a framework, access control framework. So you can create any framework. I've just given it the simple name, access control framework. So access, what do I have in it? Access control framework. I just, it's easier for me to show you. That's the reason I have it over here also. So access control framework has two classes, which is employee, which is a public, and a student, which is open. Now if you have seen, I have a simple class over here. This is a public class with a public function of get name, and then I have a student class which is obviously open, and I have a function open get name. So I'll just show you how we usually use it, and what is the difference between open and public. So going through my access specifier class, now open and public, this is the exact definition which they give you. A public class is accessible but not subclassed outside the defining module. A public class member is accessible but not overridable outside the defining module. So I'll just uncomment this code and you'll soon see. So open class was inherited, there was no issue in it, but a public class we had an issue, because a public class cannot be inherited outside the defined module. So the module which we had was access control framework. It cannot be overridden or inherited outside the module. This was a simple definition difference between open and public. Now you might have a question that can I just instantiate employee public or student public? So I had a question, that's why I covered it over here. So is it possible I can I can just instantiate? So the answer is no, we cannot instantiate. So have you ever instantiated foundation framework? No, you can just override it, you can just use it, you can just inherit it, but you just cannot use it. So I have just a simple definition over here of why it cannot be used. So Swift classes, they do not have abstract classes available. So this is the way they achieve abstract classes over here. So we have the framework in which employee public and student open are available, those classes, but obviously you cannot instantiate that class. So if you'll just pause the video and you can read it, you'll really understand that how it works. So this was employee public and student open. This was regarding public and open. Now internal we don't have a lot to tell you about. It's like uh, this is a staff internal. So I have a class staff internal and I have a get name function over here. What am I doing? Internal is by default. You don't need to write it. Even if I write it over here, it doesn't really makes a difference. So it doesn't really matter. And I'll just show you. We can just create a simple object over here, and I can write get name. It gets easily called. So internal is where you can use it within this module. You cannot use it outside modules, or even cannot override it. Now it comes to file private and private. So these are kind of what is a file private first. So Swift in Swift 3.0 we got file private over here. So what does a file private do? It's a very simple. It's really very simple. Where what it does is it has the restriction level on the file. So if you write a function name file private, it will be accessible only and only in that class. So I'll just go to the staff file private class over here. Now staff file private class, I have written a file private function which is get name. So this is a file private function. Can I access it outside this file, this complete file, I'm going to say? So we'll just go to our view controller over here, and this is our file private. I'll just try. No, I cannot access it. If I even build it and write it, this will say that get name is inaccessible due to file private protection level. So how can you access a file private? If you really want to access it, you create a different class within the file private, which is a staff file private 2 or something, and here you'll just call this staff file private dot get name. Now this will get called over here. The reason is because this is in the same class. So the file private works just because you are in the same class. It won't work if you are in a different class. Now the last specifier which comes is a private specifier. The staff private specifier. Staff private, I have just written a class and I have a function private. Can I access it outside? Can I create an object of staff private? Obviously I can create because it's an internal class, but can I access that specifier? No, it's a private function. I just cannot access it. It can be used just within the class. So that was regarding the access specifiers, which I just told you: open, public, internal, file private, and private. Let me know let me know your feedbacks around it. I'm going to add few more sessions on different topics, and yeah, that's for the day. Thank you.